Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to LoungeACADEMY Rehearsal, Piano Bar Rehearsal. My name's Howard. I'll be your practicing pianist. Today is March 9th, 2021. What a date. It's starting to seem a little spring-like even here in Buffalo, New York, where the show emanates from, right downtown, the heart of the downtown lounge district. The time is 9:40, which means we've got 20 minutes to be together, which is all the time I need. We might have a few surprise guests tonight. I'm going to watch myself on TV. I want to make sure it's really working. I'm surrounded by TVs. I can see myself everywhere. It'll help me get my numbers up. Pretty soon the weather's going to be nice out. I'm going to kind of miss this crappy weather. You know, it's nice when there's crappy weather. You can do stuff you want to accomplish. Instead of just being happy. How little we know. How much to discover, what chemical forces flow from lover to lover. How little we understand what touches off that tingle, that sudden explosion when two tingles intermingle. Who cares to define what chemistry this is? Who cares with your lips on mine what ignorant bliss is? So long as you kiss me, ooh yeah, the world around us shatters. How little it matters, ooh, how little we know, oh yeah, yeah. Ooh, how little we know. Little we know. See, now I'm watching the threats from YouTube. I'd be better off not looking at the YouTube screen. It tells you things like the connection's going to end if you don't start transmitting again. Like, no data. No data. This stream will end shortly unless you restart your streaming software. What What do they want from me? They want blood. The best thing to do it is just ignore it. You know, it winds up fine. It's just another way we're being tested, right? Oh, yeah. I was getting into that. One of the amazing things about live streaming like this on the World Wide Web, broadcasting all over the world like this, is how closely it approximates the experience of playing one of my gigs. There's nobody there either. It's just like this. I don't even have the staff to play for tonight. Usually at least you got the waiters and stuff. At least you got people there that can ignore you. Here there aren't even people to ignore you. However, my best audience are the people watching right now. And you know who you are. You're from the future because you're watching this as a rerun. Dropping by the lounge. You guys are the best. You know why, too? Because you guys know what's going to happen tomorrow. You possess that wisdom. That's why you're smart enough, wise enough to drop by the piano bar. And you have the latest technology. This heart of mine was doing very well. The world was fine, as far as I could tell. Suddenly I met you, and I dreamed of gay amour. At dawn I woke up singing sentimental overture. This heart of mine is dancing gaily now. I taste the wine of real romancing now. This crazy world is taking on a wonderful design. As long as life endures, it's yours, this heart of mine. Oh yeah. This heart of mine. That's a Sinatra tune. Of course, what isn't a Sinatra tune? He sang everything. I'm a sentimental, I'm a sap, that's all. What's the use of trying not to fall? I have no will, you've made your kill. On account of you took advantage of me. I'm just just an apple on a bough. What's the use of gonna shake me down somehow? Ooh, what's the use? You cooked my goose, 'cause you took advantage of me. Ooh, I'm so hot and bothered, I don't know my elbow from my ear. I suffered something awful each time you go, and much worse when you're near. All my bridges burned, just a babe in arms where you're concerned. So lock the door, call me yours, 'cause you took advantage of me. Oh yeah, ooh, you took advantage of me. Rodgers and Hart, they wrote a lot of great songs, right, Mr. Sanchez? It's Mr. Sanchez, ladies and gentlemen. How about another big round of applause for big show business personality, Mr. Sanchez. Great to see you. We saved you seats. Got your usual coming. To be here with you, Mr. Sanchez. Nothing's better than being around a piano. During a world pandemic. That's the best time. Wonder if I could still read out of these books. Of course. You make me feel so young, Mr. Sanchez. Yeah. That's a good point. This one is ready for a tune. It's been worse, but I've been meaning to do it. But I know it didn't sound too bad last night on the recording. Where were we here? You make me feel so young. Oh yeah, you make me feel like spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I wanna go play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. Oh, you and me are just like couple of tots running across the meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung and bells to be rung and wonderful fling to be flung. Oh yeah! And when I'm old and gray, you're gonna make me feel the way I do, 'cause you make me feel so young. You know this one? Joseph Miro and Mac Gordon. Now, Mac Gordon I'm familiar with, the lyricist. Joseph Maron, I'm a little familiar with Mac Gordon. Oh, that's a ringer. Those are clever lyrics. That's in the people's key of B flat, for those keeping score. Keeping it within that key. The night is like a lovely tune. Beware my foolish heart. How wise the ever constant moon. Beware my foolish heart. There's a line between love and fascination. It's hard to see on an evening such as this, but they both give the very same sensation. At the moment of a kiss, her lips were much too close to mine. Beware my foolish heart. But should our eager lips combine, then let the fire start. For this time it isn't gonna matter, or the dream that will fade and fall away. It's love. This time it's love, my foolish heart. What a great B-flat song. To me, that's one of the top piano bar songs. You just kind of expect it, you know? It's a song you just imagine a glamorous person walking into the club. 2 cigarettes going at once. Doesn't look at anything else. Walks right to the piano. Makes the request. Then looks at me and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I was in another place." No, I threw in the last part. Just to be a spoiled sport. But that's the kind of song it is. I'll be happy to help you any way I can, Mr. Sanchez. You know what voicings are? They're a point of departure. It's good to learn voicings so that like you've got like a bedrock to land on, you know, and to start from. And then as you go forward year after year, you just, you know, instead, I don't calculate alterations, you know, the altered chords and all these things. I used to, but now I just like randomly move a finger. There, I just altered it, right? Because there's really nothing you can do that you don't learn how to make it be in context, you know? It's all done after the fact. It's weird. It's a weird thing the way our ears hear music. We actually make sense of it after it's played. I know, like lots of times you hear somebody playing or singing and man, that sour note hits you in the face, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to. If it's handled in context afterwards, it undoes it. And all of a sudden isn't that weird? How do you take it back, right? How do you take back a wrong note? But that's the magic of it. I'm convinced. I just play anything. Look, you can just hit the notes. Those are voicings. I don't know what the hell they are. I see. Yeah, right. Because learning voicings isn't music. I learned them too. I loved learning them. I loved theory. Believe it or not. But I never think of it anymore. I mean, when I'm doing something, I think in terms of chords. I know what chord I'm, you know, the harmonic structure of a song. The best thing to do is to spend a lot of time not playing songs, just doing this. Be random. You'll discover like just your own patterns and things, you know, the you. Think of it in terms of conversation. Here's a thought I had about this, Mr. Sanchez. I'll bet you could have an imaginary conversation with a good friend without them being there, right? You could imagine the conversation. You could imagine whatever they're going to say. And you're probably going to be right because you notice we tend to say the same things over and over again when we have conversations, like, right? You know that a certain friend is going to have a certain way of talking, and they're going to basically give you their same opinions over and over again, right? I mean, it's the way we are. One guy's going to be going on about the stock market, and your other friend's going to be talking about his sports team. Another one's going to be talking about his girlfriend, or his boss, right? And we're each like that. We're all guilty of that, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's what we are. And that's what improvising is. That's why you don't want to try to copy somebody else. You want to experiment and let your own patterns grow, and you won't even necessarily be conscious of them after a while. So I could do this all day now. And as far as the individual voicings go, I'm pretty random about it. I love hitting just like anything because notes. So if I'm not making a wrong note, I'll make one myself on purpose. And there's your altered chords, you know. Remember, you know, they talk about bebop, how it came about. And how to a lot of people, they said that music doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like it's Chinese, you know. The notes don't make sense. And, you know, the scholars of bebop, man, they get into mathematics like crazy, right? We're all familiar with that. The modes and the chords and the alterations and things. But it's like, if you want to sound like wrong notes, which is what that sounded like to people, just play wrong notes. Right? It took me, I just thought of that like the last week or so. I was thinking, it took me that long to have the wisdom to realize if you want to sound like you're playing wrong notes, play wrong notes. Everyone will think you're a genius. It works. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. 2-5-1 through the whole circle, but also don't go through the whole circle, because songs don't go through the whole circle of fifths. I mean, there have been a couple written that do as kind of a novelty, but pick a key and then work on like, 3 or 4. There's only a few keys, right? We use flats through 4 flats, okay? Key of A flat, and then sharps. This type of music, it never goes beyond, with exceptions that prove the rule, to 2 sharps. It doesn't even do that. Nothing's in the key of D. Key of G. So you only need 1 sharp through 4 flats. So, and most of the time you're doing only half of those, right? So just noodle around and do 6-2-5-1 in each of the common keys, the keys that these songs are in, the ones I just described. And do progressions like that. That's what I'm doing. Like, okay, E flat. Then you vary it a little bit, because sometimes in those keys, then they take it to like the tag, and extend it a little bit. And that's what it is. Those are the ingredients. It's like in the kitchen, if you like to cook a little bit, there's only like half a dozen things like every basic thing is made out of, right? So you just mix them together in different ways. Key of F. So I'm just thinking 6-2-5-1. Actually, I don't even think it anymore. I just do it, because just like blues, right? You could hear the 12 bars coming around without counting, because you just know it. With these standards, it's the same way. You can tell when it's coming around again. You just, after a while, you don't have to pay attention. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's fun to cook, isn't it? It's great because you can eat. What have you been making? What did you learn to make during the pandemic? What's on your pandemic menu, Mr. Sanchez? Another real song, and then I'm going to go home to the wife and cat so I don't get in trouble. Here's 1 and 3 flats. You like getting all these threats by YouTube. Oh, I see. Well, cooking is just like playing jazz piano. It's easy to start improvising. I do a lot of improvising. I buy stuff I don't know what it's for, you know, like I just bought a ginger root. I know I like ginger when it's pickled and they're serving it with sushi. Who doesn't, right? It's great. So I didn't even know you could buy a root. I was at the place, the shopping place, you know, whatever you call those things, supermarket, whatever. Actually, it was a restaurant supply place. And they got these things. It looks like it was from another planet, right? This big, ugly root. Ginger. It was like $2, you know? So it's like, all right, I got to experiment, learn what you could do with ginger. And turns out you could just eat the stuff. You can munch on it. Boys, it's powerful. It's more powerful than the gingered stuff. I always experiment in the kitchen. I experiment with vegetable first aid. I'm becoming a vegetable paramedic. I like to take things and see if I can keep them thriving, right? Like, I've been doing this with celery for like a year or a year and a half. I buy celery for my chicken wings because I'm a Buffalonian, so everybody has chicken wings and celery at home and eat nothing else but that. So celery, like, it starts wilting and getting limp and all this. I've been experimenting for a year and a half. I just try random things, you know, and some work and some don't. We'll get into that on a celery show. I was experimenting with potatoes recently because I had, you know, they last like a number of months and then they start to go bad for a variety of reasons. So I've been experimenting with resuscitating potatoes. So I got some to like come back and they started to look like they wanted to like start growing potato trees again. You know, they're getting greenish. So then I Googled it and I Googled green potatoes. Now these aren't, I don't know how green they gotta be. I found out it's dangerous. The green is like a deadly poison. But this is just a green cast, like the potatoes, you know, digging it and growing buds and stuff. So I don't know. I made a fryer, you know, so I could deep fry stuff. Fried chicken. Now, fried chicken's not that easy. Especially if you get fancy with the, you know, 11 herbs and spices and stuff. Getting it to stick, you dip it. I only tried making fried chicken a couple of times. Mashed potatoes, that's a pancakes, yeah. Yeah, steak, yeah. Yeah, bagels, that's on my list too. I studied up on how to do it and I didn't make any yet. You boil them, right? And yeah, now it's gonna be in my head. I'm gonna wanna make those again. I'm glad you reminded me. I love making steaks. I got into a charcoal grilling kick, you know, and then I over the COVID summer, I built a hot dog cart that actually charbroils, and I got a public license for it and everything, and I actually tried it out in November. It took me till November to get the license. I was standing out there in the snow selling hot dogs just to try it out. It's really a blast. So I make hot dogs for myself almost every day. Try using, you know what I use in my deep fryer? 100% lard. I use old-fashioned lard, you know, and I'm a believer, but don't overheat it. You'll blow up the house. I haven't had a fire, but when I first started using it, I purposely tried to set it on fire. I wanted to, because I don't want a fire, so I wanted to learn, and I got the thermometers, professional thermometers and stuff, and I don't take my eyes off of it. I don't leave the kitchen if that thing's on, because you could forget. But lard is great, and you can leave it. It's like self-preserving, and it doesn't transfer tastes from one thing to another. It's awesome. They didn't need to improve upon that and come out with all these things. And a lot of people are saying it's actually healthier for you. And that's great. That's great. I'm dying for your fried chicken. Well, I'm going to be dying if I don't get home for dinner with the wife and cat on time. So we'll see you again soon. Thanks for jumping into the lounge here with us, Mr. Sanchez. It's been a ball. And let me know how you do with your 6-2-5-1 practicing in a few keys. Don't get carried away. Start with F and C and E flat. Those are the three most common keys for these songs. And then, you could do B flat once in a while and A flat, just so you know them. Get comfortable with a couple. It's fun because you develop a little language, a little vocabulary with one key, and then you go to the other key, and it's different just because your hands fall differently, and it just leads to different ideas and habits and patterns and things. So be very random. Don't pre-plan any. Don't think ahead. I'll see you later. Yeah, you got it. 90% of the songs are based on that. See you next time. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, future viewers.